Okay, Eisenhower artists, we are going to create artwork using lines turn into shapes, and then we're going to add patterns. All right, and somewhere in there you're going to put your name. Here is that artwork by Amehdokpo. Make sure you go back and look at that introduction video I made all about this famous artist who lives in Africa. So to start this style of artwork, you're going to use a ruler, but if you don't have a ruler, you can use a piece of paper that you fold. Check it out. Take a piece of paper, any kind of paper, scrap paper, colored paper, something from the mail. If you fold it a couple times and get a little bit of a thick edge like this can be a ruler. You could even use a book for a ruler, the edge of a book. Okay, so I'm going to show you that. Start with, you can have your art oriented horizontally or vertically, your choice. I'm going to do a vertical one today. Your first step is to put a couple shapes in the middle of your page. I'm going to do this polygon shape, almost like a triangle. Well, this one is a triangle because it's 3 points. And then I'm going to do a polygon, which is random, more than 1 point, maybe like this and like this. Let me show you how that would look if you used a piece of paper for your ruler. This edge right here can be like a ruler. See that? Okay, so this is just like a starting point. Now you're going to put more lines and shapes around here, and you can cross over into this if you want. This gives you a starting point. So from here, my mind just jumped to this idea that I want to put a big curve like this right there on that shape. And I'm going to put another curve like a letter C. Not really like a rainbow, I'm not going to fill it in more, but that's just where my mind jumped right away to that shape. And then I'm going to start filling up more lines. Let me show you what it looks like if you want to use a book for a ruler. I'm going to put some lines like this and some lines like this. Okay, now for every line that you do, you're going to trace it over with marker. So I'm going to stop right there and switch to a marker because I feel comfortable just using a marker and skipping the pencil step. I'm going to look for my black marker. See, I put some supplies just in a box like this. You might have a box at home that you want to keep all your art supplies in. I found my black marker. So I'm going to start making the rest of the lines with the black marker. Okay, you're not going to leave it in pencil. You want to cover everything up with a black marker. So look how I'm using the edge of this book, just like that, to make my lines. Okay, so even if you don't have a ruler, try using this paper folded thing for a ruler or a book. Okay, so now I'm going to go over these lines with my black marker. I recommend just going straight to black marker. Then you don't have to do it twice. Once you kind of get a couple shapes started and you like where it's going, trace over it with a marker, your marker. Cover up those pencil lines. So you're not doing everything twice. I'm just going to go straight to my pencil lines. I just had an idea. I'm going to make it go thin like this. Yeah. Okay, these are just abstract shapes and lines that come together in an interesting way. We're going to add color, so start thinking about what colors you might like. You could do like a color palette with only 3 colors, maybe red, blue, yellow. Okay, this is our inspiration here. Amehdokpo, this is his style here. And you're doing your own abstract lines and shapes. Somewhere in here you're going to put your name. So right now when I drew that line, I just saw this shape right here. I think that's a good spot for my name. So I'm gonna do some block letters for my name, Wallace. Now that looks weird, but that's okay. I'm gonna fill this in, I think. A W didn't turn out exactly like I imagined, but don't worry. See, a lot of things with art don't turn out exactly how you thought, but keep going. Now that I filled it in, it looks a little bit better. Okay, I'm gonna make an A. Okay, as you're finishing up with your black lines, make sure you make some lines thick. So see here with the ruler, I can put it next to the first line to make it thick, and use the edge of these types of markers if you have this type. Remember, if you tip the marker to the side, it gives you a thick line. All right, if you use the point of the marker, it gives you a smaller pointy line. The tip. Versus the edge, where you get a thick line. Okay, so go back and make some of these lines thick, some of them thin. Add patterns. Here's some idea pages for patterns. I'm gonna put these in your Canvas class so you can look at them on your screen while you're drawing. If you have a printer at home, you could print these. Okay, so that's an option you have in your Canvas class. All right, when you're adding color, color is your choice. You can add color with marker. Check this out. I'm using the thin edge, the thick edge. Look how fast this color goes down using the thick edge of the marker. Okay, thin point of the marker for small spaces. Maybe you have some thin line markers. Okay, you can choose what kind of color supply you want to use. Look at this thin line, gets right in here. Ooh, remember your craftsmanship. No scribbles. You're caring about your art. Does it look tidy? Are you filling in the spaces completely? No scribbles. Filling in those spaces. Don't leave lots of scribble edges. Okay, also you can combine crayon and marker. Especially when it comes to these big spaces in my art. Check out how fast a crayon fills in this big space right here. Okay, I decided my color scheme or color palette is going to be the primary colors, red, yellow, and blue. So I'm only going to use red, yellow, and blue. I'm going to fill in different shades of red, yellow, and blue. Okay, I'm going to work on the color and I'll get back to you in just a minute. Okay, I'm getting closer to being finished with my color. I want you to pay attention to crayon. When you're using crayon, you really need to press hard enough so you get good coverage. You want your color to look dark and filled in all the way. You don't want to see the white paper under your color. So when you're using crayon, like this spot here, I'm going to go over it a second coat. Ooh, look how much nicer it just got. A lot darker. You can layer and layer that color until you get a nice thick crayon on there. Let's check here. It's a little bit light. Needs some more crayon. Ooh, look how that improved. You want to cover up the white paper. Okay, I'm going to continue here. Also pay attention to my colors. I decided my color scheme or my color palette is only going to be red, blue, and yellow, and different shades of blue. red, yellows. That will help your artwork look more unified, more like things go together. They have unity. It makes it a little bit more pleasing to the eye. Just a few colors, not too many colors, all together at once. So I have just a few more spaces to fill up. Don't forget your name needs to be somewhere. You're focusing on patterns and draw big, okay? Draw big shapes. Don't make things really, really small. You can leave some things white. If you don't want to fill up every little space on your page, you can leave some things white. But it has to be mostly filled with lines, shapes, and pattern, and color. Okay, I want to show you this technique when adding color with marker. Check out if I use the edge of the marker and go line by line by line, line by line to fill it in like that. It's kind of like a ladder, a step. You go line by line by line, line next to line, next to line, like going up a ladder. Line, step, step. See how nice that looks? The color on the page just lays down much nicer than if you're scribbling. Line next to line. Now here's a curve, so I'm just going to curve like that. So curved line, next to curve, next to curve. Get a messy mat. You know how we have messy mats in the art room? I have this extra page here I'm going to put next to the edge so I can have a messy mat to cover up my desk at home that I have here. Turn the page. I'm going to go line next to line. See, line by line like that. It gives it a cleaner look with your marker than if you scribble. Line by line. Right off my messy mat like that. Okay, I'm almost done. Now I'm going to leave some white spots. I'm going to leave white around my name. I'm going to leave some white in here. And I'm going to finish filling this space with red, blue, or yellow, guys. Red, blue, or yellow. I'm going to do red. Okay, watch as I do this again. Line by line, line. Keep going like that. See how that fills in really fast and it looks much nicer. Better craftsmanship than scribble lines. Okay, that's part of your grade for every art project. Craftsmanship. Show your skills that you're learning. No sloppy scribbles. Line by line. Adding color with marker can get tricky. You want it to stay looking neat without a lot of scribbles. A lot of professional artists make entire pieces of art with markers. Okay. So learn how to use a marker in a different way with a more artistic technique. Line, next to line, next to line, next to line. Okay, and then you can fill in the edges. I'm going to turn it like this. Fill it in. And that's it. This is my line, shape, pattern art inspired by Joseph Amehdokpo.